Hello, Bobby aka Anarcha here, and in this video I would like to talk about the American two-party system and why it has always been illegitimate. Now, I know that this isn't exactly a surprising opinion coming from an anarchist such as myself. However, I have several reasons for why the American two-party system has always been illegitimate, and why it tends to empower like fascist, feudalist, and white supremacism, and all sorts of other patriarchy, and all sorts of other shitty things of that nature. The American public and media like to tell themselves that the United States was founded upon, like, you know, God, democracy, freedom. In reality, of course, it was founded upon greed. It was founded upon slavery. It was founded upon hypocrisy. And of course, those things are very much still a part of the American system. And like, Americans like to tell themselves that wealth comes from, and like Americans and Westerners in general like to tell themselves that wealth comes from hard work. But if that were really the case, then why is it that the wealthiest families in the Western world in the 19th and 20th centuries are largely still the wealthiest families now, with few exceptions? I mean, like, upward mobility does not happen nearly as often as Hollywood and the Austrian School of Economics would like us to believe. It really doesn't. And in the few cases it does happen, oftentimes luck and inheritance play a big role in getting that started. So even then, the focus on upward mobility in this country, Reaganomics, Thatcherism, austerity, neoliberalism, kind of horseshit. And also keep in mind that the Republican Party has always been a reaction to the Democratic Party. Like the Republican Party started off opposing slavery, not so much out of any sort of moral opposition to slavery. Indeed, many early Republicans, Lincoln included, admitted that if they could have the Union preserved and have slavery be a part of that, they would. So, yeah, like, we like to tell ourselves that, and yeah, like, the Republican Party of that time did ultimately end up doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, but, you know, like, which is a big difference from the Republican Party of today. And, of course, there's also the whole, like, Southern strategy, which, you know, some of the Democrats kind of overrate the importance of that to shaping the Republican Party as we know it today, but it was a thing. Oh, and by the way, if anyone claims that,
Oh, hi, Bobby on TV. Who are you talking to? Well, anyway, you know that shooter in El Paso?
yeah.
Well, when he was shooting up his rifle, he was saying it's the Asian Mexicans. Mexico. That's what he was shooting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like, as I was saying, if anyone, claims that I am afraid to criticize the Democrats as vehemently as I do reactionaries, show them this video, please. Yeah, and, also, I have always been very, very critical of what, the Democratic Party, in its inception, did to the indigenous peoples of this country. Like, I'm partially descended from indigenous Americans myself, from Peru, Colombia, Iberia, India, China, Russia, Alaska, and various other places. And, yeah, like, what what Jackson did to the indigenous peoples of this country was an absolutely disgraceful act of government violence and government racism. Like that, like anybody who denies that that the Indian Removal Act was a blatant act of systemic racism in history, like, you're just fucking wrong. You're just fucking delusional. You're just fucking trying to lie to yourself to deny the fact that your ancestors have really, really fucked over the indigenous peoples of this country, and there's no fucking excuse for it at all. I also don't like how a lot of Westerners nowadays use tribalism as another word for separatism. I think that's kind of subtly racist as well. And it's funny too, because like, white people used to live in fucking tribes for millions of years as well, so... Well, not millions, thousands, because, like, white people haven't been around quite as long as indigenous peoples, Africans, etc. South Asians, the Middle East. And of course we have genetic admixture with all those populations, which white supremacists like to fucking deny, but again, they're fucking wrong, and I'm not afraid to call them on it. This has been Bobby, aka Anarcha Media. Liberty, equality, fraternity, goodbye.